NVIDIA has been on an absolute tear over the last 18 months. Shares are now trading above $940 per share. And it's hard to argue that any company defines artificial intelligence more than NVIDIA right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the best artificial intelligence investment long term. And there are a few reasons for this. First, the company is very expensive after the recent run up in stock. On a trailing basis, the price to earnings multiple is 79. The enterprise value to sales multiple is nearly 40. That is just an astronomically high enterprise value to sales multiple. And that's because the company has been able to charge essentially whatever they want for their chips, making margins extremely high. But we're already starting to see signs that margins are going to start coming down. The B100 is expected to have a little bit lower margins than the H100 had, and competitors are starting to come into the market. NVIDIA's biggest customers are developing their own chips. There are startups that are developing AI chips. And so I think it's hard to see that NVIDIA is going to be the dominant player in artificial intelligence long-term the way that it is today. So what are the stocks that might be a better bet for artificial intelligence? I'm going to give you 3 today that I think are really intriguing. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video's sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. The first company to look at is a company that has been building artificial intelligence tools for quite a while and is actually one of NVIDIA's biggest customers, probably their first or second customer along with Microsoft, and that is Meta Platforms. Meta Platforms is obviously known as a social media network, but it also has a massive data center business within Meta itself, and that's where it houses one of the biggest fleets of NVIDIA chips and H100s or H100 equivalents, as Mark Zuckerberg calls them, to build their tools in-house. The Llama AI models are arguably performing about as well as some of the other better known models like OpenAI's or like Alphabet's, and Meta can open source those. They're basically giving them away to developers and to small companies. Larger companies do have to get a licensing deal with Meta Platforms, but this is very clearly a leader in artificial intelligence from a technology perspective, and they have the applications and use cases in their existing business to actually make money off of this. Social media is built on advertising, and making ads with artificial intelligence, whether you're doing that with text, images, or video, is going to be likely much easier with artificial intelligence tools. You can make them more customizable. Meta is already introducing chatbots that can be used for things like customer service on Meta's platforms. So there's a ton of ways that Meta can use artificial intelligence to improve its business and actually expand the moat around what it already does. So I think this is one of those companies that isn't necessarily an AI company today. And ironically, Mark Zuckerberg may have renamed the company a little bit too early, calling it Meta Platforms, because maybe it makes more sense for Meta Platforms to be an artificial intelligence company in the future with social media as sort of its core business. But AI is going to play a major role for them going forward, whether it's building models, putting them in social media applications or advertisements, or even moving to things like the Ray-Ban glasses that they're developing that are going to have artificial intelligence tools built in. So I think this is one of the companies that it's going to definitely benefit from artificial intelligence long term, not only because they have the core technology and the data centers, but also the applications that are actually using AI on a regular basis. The second company to think about is another big tech company, and that is Alphabet. Google has been working on artificial intelligence, acquired DeepMind. Again, a company with a massive data center business. They have the Google Cloud, but they also have all of the infrastructure that they have built to provide search queries and do all of the artificial intelligence and machine learning that they have done in the background for decades. And they invented the TPU. So Alphabet is a company that has been out in front in artificial intelligence for a very long time. Now, they are going to struggle with a business model change potentially, given that search is really their cash cow. So how do you transition from being a search-driven business to being an artificial intelligence business? We don't quite have the answer for that yet. But I think if any company is going to figure out how to monetize and how to turn advertising into a viable business model in the world of artificial intelligence, where we may be talking to an AI or interacting with an AI on computers or on smartphones, I think Alphabet can be that company. It made a phenomenal transition from primarily desktops to mobile, and now the next transition is going to be into artificial intelligence. Given the scale that's involved and the integration that Alphabet already has within Android devices, and the fact that it has preferred deals with Apple on the iPhone, particularly in search. I think Alphabet is extremely well positioned to be another major player in the AI market. That could help grow the core business in search, could help advertising in YouTube, or it could just grow the Google Cloud, which is already a massive business, recently turned the corner to profitability, and I think has a lot of upside to increase both margins and revenue as more and more companies are building their artificial intelligence tools on the Google Cloud using their infrastructure, which I think is arguably better than anyone else in technology today. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. The third company that I'm really intrigued by in artificial intelligence is an application that is actually using AI and has been using AI for quite a while. That is Matterport. This is a spatial computing company, can scan homes in commercial businesses, even public spaces, and then uses artificial intelligence to map those spaces, to do everything from determining what the measurements are, to building a CAD design, to adding or subtracting components that are on people's walls. And some of the tools that Matterport is building, I think, could ultimately change the way we use spatial computing and the applications that the company is involved in. Now, this is Matterport's recent release of some new products in what they're calling property intelligence. And what this is going to do is take a Matterport and actually turn it into usable files. You can build a 3D virtual tour, floor plans, and street view, all from doing a simple Matterport. But the use cases really go beyond something just like simple real estate and showing the floor plan of something. You can come in here and do modifications. What would it look like if I took out a wall? What are the actual dimensions for a home that I can put on something like the MLS? There are plugins that companies can use. The number of tools that can be built on top of Matterport's data is really tremendous using artificial intelligence. And I think we're really just scratching the surface of that right now. One of the things that they recently showed is being able to use prompts to be able to build out a commercial space. So you do a Matterport of a commercial space and say, what would this look like as a gym? What would it look like as an open floor plan office space? What would it look like as a grocery store? And Matterport could build that out for you using generative AI. That is a phenomenally valuable use case for generative AI, something that I don't think we have in a lot of cases in artificial intelligence today. So out of these three, Matterport is definitely the most speculative, but I think it also has the most upside as a result. If this spatial data is able to be turned into usable data and proves to be extremely valuable for businesses and for consumers, that puts Matterport in a very good position to become a horizontal services company that can tie into all kinds of different apps, from hotels to MLSs to short-term rentals to commercial construction. There's just a ton of applications, and a lot of those are driven by artificial intelligence tools. So that's why Matterport is definitely one to keep an eye on in the AI space. And I'm going to be looking out for more of these applications that are actually using AI to add value to what they're doing, not just necessarily creating new chatbots and things we've kind of been able, and things that seem to be becoming commodities as each day passes. But that's why those are the three companies that I would be looking at if you're interested in artificial intelligence. They're not nearly as expensive as NVIDIA is today. Meta's price to earnings multiple is about 34. Alphabet's price to earnings multiple is a little over 25. Matterport isn't yet profitable, but has about $500 million in cash on the balance sheet, and the market cap is only around $700 million right now. So I think pretty good risk reward there. And none of those three companies have the same competitive pressures that I think we're going to see NVIDIA facing over the next few years. But those are at least some alternatives to look at if you're interested in AI. For more investment ideas, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.